She's been called the crazy ex-girlfriend killer and been compared a lot to Jodi Arias. She was so obsessed with him that if she couldn't have him, then no one could. Growing up, Ryan Poston was very close with his family, and he was your stereotypical golden boy. He was good-looking, popular, smart, and a big overachiever. In college, Ryan graduated with a triple major, which is very impressive. He then went to law school, became a very successful lawyer, and he even owned his own law firm before he was even 30 years old. But his entire life and future would change in 2011 when he met Shayna Hubers. Ryan was scrolling social media one day when he stumbled upon Shayna's spring break photos. He messaged her and the two started going out. Shayna was also very smart, outgoing, and popular, but she was also called a bit of a drama queen. In school, she was seen kind of as boy crazy. She always had some kind of boy drama, boy troubles. When Ryan and Shayna met, Ryan was 28 years old and Shayna was only 19. They're both obviously very attractive. They were really smart. They start dating, but the two had very different views on what their relationship was. Ryan was only looking for something casual when he met Shayna. He was not looking for a commitment, and he did not see Shayna as something serious or something long-term. Shayna, on the other hand, was already head over heels for Ryan, was already telling people that he was the one, and was just overall completely obsessed with him. She was very insecure and jealous and would often compare herself to girls that Ryan had dated in the past. While Shayna was in college, the two of them actually lived 80 miles apart, but Shayna would always just show up at Ryan's job, at his condo, and she would even let herself into the condo because she had a key made for his apartment. She also hacked into his Facebook account and was calling Ryan and texting Ryan hundreds of times a day. It's actually been said that during their 18-month-long relationship, there was 50,000 texts sent amongst them, and it's been said that Ryan sent anywhere between like 500 and 1,000 of those texts, and Shayna sent the other 49,000. The relationship was clearly very toxic. It was always on again, off again. They were always fighting, mainly because Ryan was not into her obsessive behavior. Ryan would always break up with her, and he would always try and break up with her and end things for good, but Shayna could not take no for an answer. Shayna is said to be very manipulative and would always find a way to guilt Ryan to take her back. It got to a point where Shayna was very clearly stalking Ryan whenever he would break up with her. She would call him, like I said, hundreds of times a day, so Ryan would block her phone number, and then she would go get a new phone number so she could keep calling and texting him. Shayna was harassing the other girls that Ryan was seeing whenever they would break up. She would show up at his job and was also breaking into his condo. There was one time when they were broken up that Shayna broke into his condo. He was telling her to leave and she would not leave, so Ryan just left his own condo. It had gotten so serious that Ryan was texting friends and family almost weekly that he did not know what he could do to get rid of Shayna. He told multiple people that he was considering a restraining order, and also one day texted one of his family members, "She's literally probably the craziest effing person I've ever met. She almost scares me." Meanwhile, Shayna had a very different story and a very different viewpoint on the relationship. She told people that Ryan was the abusive and controlling and obsessive one. She texted people that he was evil, that she hated him. She also joked about shooting and killing Ryan and making it look like an accident, which is very interesting considering that 2 weeks later, that's exactly what she did. The day before Shayna killed Ryan was October 11th, 2012. Ryan was in the process of ending things with Shayna yet again. However, that evening, he invited Shayna over to his parents' house, which I know is very confusing because he was considering a restraining order and was scared of her and she was stalking him. It's definitely some mixed signals. But later that same night, back at Ryan's condo, Ryan did try and break up with Shayna. It was pretty late at night by the time that he broke up with her, so it's believed that Ryan let her crash in the living room because, again, she lived 80 miles away. Shayna was so devastated and hysterical about the breakup that she called her mom, hysterically crying at 3 a.m. Her mom was so concerned for her daughter that she got in the car and drove 2.5 hours at 3 a.m. to meet Shayna at Ryan's condo because Shayna was that hysterically upset. The next afternoon, Shayna starts texting Ryan, her now ex-boyfriend, that she's in the hospital, that she's in the emergency room, that there's something seriously wrong with her heart. But this was all a lie. At this time that Shayna was texting Ryan about being in the emergency room and all these symptoms that she was having, she was actually out shopping with her mom. She was Googling symptoms of some really serious illnesses to send Ryan to try and manipulate him and guilt him because he had just broken up with her. But Ryan did not care because Ryan was already moving on. He actually had a date set up for that night with beauty queen Aubrey Bolt. She was the Miss Ohio winner and actually the second runner-up for Miss America. But Ryan never showed up for that date. Aubrey thought that Ryan had stood her up, but that was not the case. As Ryan was getting ready to leave to go meet Aubrey for their date, his ex-girlfriend Shayna showed up at his condo, and with the key that she had made, she let herself right into his apartment. Not long later, Shayna called 911 to report that she shot and killed Ryan in self-defense.
Campbell County 911.
Ma'am, I killed my boyfriend in self-defense.
Okay, where are you?
I'm standing about 10 feet from his dead body. He beat me and tried to carry me out of the house, and I came back in to get my things, and he was right in front of me.
Shayna had broken into Ryan's apartment, and with a weapon that Ryan owned and had in his apartment, she shot him 6 times. At one point, to escape Shayna, Ryan actually locked himself in his bedroom, and then Shayna used her phone to Google how to pick a lock with a bobby pin, and Shayna did successfully unlock that door. Shayna was 21 years old, and Ryan was only 29. While in custody, Shayna stuck to her story that Ryan had attacked her, she was afraid for her life, and she killed him in self-defense. In the condo, there were 0 signs that there was a huge struggle. Also, Shayna had no injuries, no marks, cuts, bruises, nothing. Also, her story was repeatedly changing. The interrogation of Shayna Hubers is bizarre. She's dancing, she's singing.
How sweet the sound that it sang. Oh, I'll be right back. Thank you.
She's going, I did it, I can't believe I just did that.
I did. Yes, I did. I can't believe I did that.
She's caught fake crying literally a few hours after killing Ryan. She's hysterically crying when the cop's in the room. The second the cop leaves, she snaps out of it.
I'm with you just a second. You're fine.
As soon as he walked out of the room, she stopped immediately.
He's so cold and disgusting. There's one clip where Shayna says that she shot Ryan in the face to give him the nose job that he always wanted.
A completely deformed face. He's very vain and wants to get a nose job. Just that kind of person. And I shot him right here. I gave him his nose job he wanted.
The entire case is very similar to the case of Jodi Arias, who also killed her ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander. Also, because they both acted very bizarre in their initial interrogations, here's a clip of Jodi.
The stars are brightly shining. The angel voices.
Shayna's first trial began in April of 2015, and she pled not guilty. And Shayna was definitely painted as the crazy, obsessed ex-girlfriend that killed Ryan because he broke up with her. But Shayna claimed that Ryan was abusive. I always want to believe victims, so I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I am saying that no one could be found to testify that Ryan was a violent person or that he ever laid a hand on Shayna. In fact, Shayna admitted that during her relationship with Ryan, she gave herself bruises so she could tell people that Ryan gave them to her so she could get sympathy and attention. During Shayna's second trial, she also claimed that her dad SA'd her when she was younger. Again, I'm not saying that this did not happen, but he denies that it happened, and there's no evidence that that happened either. If Shayna is lying, that's very unfortunate because there's already so many people that don't want to believe women and victims in general when they say that something happened